It's the final countdown for the big Telangana election, and will there be a twist in the tale? I'm Barkha Dutt, here with the Mojo story. Many political pundits are now beginning to argue that Telangana will be the surprise election of the five that are poll bound. The election takes place on the 30th, counting for all five states is on the 3rd of December. Could the Congress stop KC Rama Rao from scoring a hat trick? The BRS is claiming that it will still be able to make a record of sorts with a third term for the chief minister. But a resurgent Congress under Revanth Reddy is extremely confident that it will form the government. Meanwhile, the BJP that had set its eyes on the state as a gateway into the south of India, which continues to be elusive for it, especially when it comes to local politics, is now looking like it is not one of the two contenders. To talk about the twist in the Telangana tale, and there's certainly more than one, to talk about the three X factors that could swing the outcome one way or the other, let's introduce our newsmaker, a very special guest on the program today. Welcome to the program, Professor Nageshwar. Professor Nageshwar is a former member of the Legislative Council. He's also a professor in journalism at the Osmania University, runs a very successful YouTube channel of his own, and is one of the most respected political pundits out of the state. Thank you for making the time, Professor Nageshwar. Let me ask you your sense of the big picture before we come to the three X factors that could change assumptions. What is the big picture looking like to you 2 days before voting is to take place?
Thank you, Barkaji. The big picture comprises of three factors. The factor number one, the Congress is resurgent. It continues to get the positive momentum right up to the elections too. Second, BRS is nervous. Its influence is declining. Three, BJP is not in the picture. So these
Hmm.
are the three dimensions of the big picture. But there are caveats, there are X factors, there can be many a slip between the cup and the lip, there can be a serious contest, and the mood may swing in either direction. But as of today, the Congress is in jubilant mood. BRS is slightly nervous, though they are presenting themselves as very confident. BJP is nowhere. Its vote share and seat share will increase, but it will not be in the core contest.
Hmm. I want to ask you, Professor Nageshwar, you said three things. You said the Congress is resurgent, the BRS is nervous, and the BJP is nowhere in the picture. It's become a marginal player in Telangana. What has worked for the Congress in this campaign? And in large measure, is it the narrative that the BRS and the BJP are in fact de facto partners?
Well, there was a visible discontent against the BRS government. This discontent was sporadic, confined to certain sections of society, and focused on certain issues. But over the period of time, this discontent got wider and penetrated into other sections and and started encompassing other aspects too. The discontent is visible when the BJP won the by-elections to Dubak, Huzurabad, and GHMC. So the BJP was the beneficiary of anti-incumbency or discontent against the BRS regime when the Congress was very weak. The Congress was not weak for organizationally, but it was weak in the perception of the people. The Bharatiya Janata Party and the BRS tried to peddle a narrative that the Congress is either not in Delhi or in Delhi. So this narrative got punctured with the Karnataka mandate, and it had a psychological impact on the Telangana voter too. So
Right.
after that, the BJP has deliberately made certain self goals. It has dropped the popular leader Bandi Sanjay, and it fails to convince the electorate why it did so. When the people strongly believe that they have deliberately cut short Bandi Sanjay in order to benefit the BRS. So, secondly, the BJP created a lot of alabol on Kavita's arrest. It did not happen. both the Modi and ED retreated. So these two factors strengthened the narrative, which is popularized by the Congress, that the BRS and the BJP are one and the same. So
I want to ask you though about Bandi Sanjay. You know, it's not the first time in the middle of an election or that the BJP has decided to take a controversial leadership decision. In Karnataka, they replaced Yediyurappa. They shafted him rather. They marginalized him. They replaced him midterm. Now they've had to bring his son back as the head of the Karnataka BJP. Why do you think the BJP replaced Bandi Sanjay? Why would they do that, according to you?
Firstly, there is a general tendency of the Modi Shah regime to dilute and weaken the regional party sattvas. They did it in Karnataka, as you rightly said, with Yediyurappa. They did it with Vasundhara Scindia and trying to do the damage control subsequently. They are doing it still today with Shivraj Singh Chauhan. They tried in vain to do with the Yogi Adityanath. And this is a common story. Like the Indira regime of the Congress, when the Congress never wanted to have a strong regional satrap. Now it is the BJP's time to not to encourage any strong regional leadership. Well, when Bandi Sanjay was emerging, obviously the High Command wanted to ensure that this doesn't happen. That is a general characteristic across the country. But there is a specific Telangana factor. So the BJP leadership perhaps thought that if the Bandi Sanjay led Praja Sangram Yatra and the Bandi Sanjay left Hindutva campaign and the BJP's forward movement will create anti-incumbency for which the Saffron Brigade may not be the beneficiary, because the BJP is not strong organizationally. It doesn't have leadership at the grassroots level. It tried to compensate by importing leaders from other parties, but that was not suffice. So BJP's central leadership might have thought that any anti-incumbency which it generates may perhaps benefit the Congress. So that was the reason why they deliberately cut themselves to size, and the result was palpable. The people reacted very strongly against the BJP, and BJP lost its strength in a very big way. It has lost the swing which it got after the by-elections of Dubak and Huzurabad. So the people started deserting BJP and coming to Congress. So Congress is the chief beneficiary of the BJP self-goals. So in fact, what has happened is the complete contrary to what Modi Shah regime thought. Modi Shah regime thought that the Congress will be beneficiary if they create anti-incumbency against the KCR regime. But the other side has happened, and when they retreated, the Congress simply stepped into their shoes and started rallying and polarizing the anti-incumbency vote. Congress already has strong local leadership. So as the discontent started brewing against the BRS, Congress was the obvious beneficiary. So it was the Congress momentum is a result of the voter fatigue with the BRS and BJP's disastrous self-goal.
Okay, strong words there about the BJP campaign, but let's come back to what is, what it looks like 48 hours before counting. Now, I want to play out for you two clips on this business of the BRS and the BJP being hand in glove, the fact that this could still happen in a post-poll scenario. First to KT Rama Rao, he responded to the Prime Minister, and the Prime Minister has repeated this in the last 24 hours, as you know, Professor Nageswara. He says, he being Modi says KCR abuses me because he wants to join the NDA, and I said no. So I asked KT Rama Rao to comment on this. Take a listen.
मोदी ने कहा कि हम एनडीए ज्वाइन होना चाह रहे थे। मैं ये बात पूछता हूँ बरका कि मोदी जी के वर्ड्स कब से सैक्रोसैंक्ट बन गए इस देश में। उन्होंने तो कहा था कि 2024-2022 तक हर किसी के पास घर होगा, हर घर में नल होगा, बुलेट ट्रेन्स दौड़ेंगे,
What's the truth of the conversation that took place between your father and the Prime Minister?
जितना ट्रूथ बाकी चीजों में था जो मोदी ने कहा कि 15 लाख मिलेगा, 2 करोड़ युवाओं को बेरोजगार मिलेगा और 5 ट्रिलियन इकोनॉमी हो जाएगा, साथ ही साथ आमदनी डबल हो जाएगी किसानों की, उनमें जितना वास्तव है इसमें भी उतना ही वास्तव है।
Are you accusing the Prime Minister of lying?
Isn't he one?
You tell me. You're the politician, I'm the journalist.
Well, absolutely. Because
you're calling the Prime Minister a liar.
I'm calling him a great script writer. I think he should try his hand at winning an Academy Award, because Natu Natu won the Oscar for best dance and best song. I think the Prime Minister is capable of winning an Oscar for best script writing.
So what happened in that conversation? That
I think
meeting did take place, right, between your father and the Prime Minister?
The Prime Minister and the Chief Minister meeting each other is quite normal. I mean, these are two institutions, which have to be in sync, which have to work in sync. The Prime Minister meeting a Chief Minister is not a big news.
So what happened in
and
that
what
conversation?
transpires in a 45-minute to 1 hour meeting is something that you'll have to ask either of them. But I can tell you one thing, and our Chief Minister has already answered it in the recent India Today interview as well. He had categorically denied it, saying basically it's a figment of the Prime Minister's imagination.
So he says it's a figment of the Prime Minister's imagination, but I put the same question to Revanth Reddy, the face of the Congress campaign, about them coming together before or after the polls. And before I come back to you, Professor Nageshwar, do also listen to what Revanth Reddy had to say. Are you worried though कि BJP और BRS, you all keep saying in your campaign, ये एक दूसरे की B team है. If you don't get a significant majority, तो ये तो चुनाव के बाद भी हाथ मिला सकते हैं.
मैं कभी भी बी टीम नहीं कहा है, वो सीधा सीधा अलायंस है. एनडीए कूटमी में बीजेपी
अलायंस है यार, बी टीम भी नहीं बोल रहा.
स्ट्रैटेजिक अलायंस, दिस इज कॉल्ड स्ट्रैटेजिक अलायंस. बीआरएस बीजेपी एमआईएम इंडिया एनडीए कूटमी, कांग्रेस सीपीआई तेलंगाना जनशक्ति प्रोफेसर कोदंडराम इज इंडिया कूटमी. So the election is going between NDA कूटमी and इंडिया कूटमी. So पिक्चर साफ है, इसमें कोई छुपाने का नहीं है, कोई मुखौटा नहीं है. तो लोगों को पता है how they are supporting each and other.
So, Professor Nageshwar, let's come to the X factors now. You opened the program by saying that the Congress is resurgent, the BRS is nervous, and the BJP is nowhere in the picture. Now, let's look at the X factors. How much does the Congress need to win by, if it wins, for the BRS and the BJP to cease to be factors about a potential, real, imagined, speculative partnership post-poll?
Well, we have to see this in two ways, Barkhaji. One, pre-election and the post-election. After the election, anything can happen in Telangana. Well, there are three players in BRS, Congress, BJP. In case of a hung, in case of a uncleared verdict, fragmented verdict, BJP, Congress can never join each other because they are the principal rivals in the national politics. The other two possibilities are always there. But the Congress and the BRS are in number 1 and number 2 position. Either of them will be 1 or 2. So obviously the 1 or 2 will never join. So the 1 or 3 should join. So the sum of the two sides is always bigger than the third side, as the Pythagoras theorem says. So there is an every likelihood of BRS, BJP joining hands in case of an hung. But we can't predict what really happens. So the X factor here is not what happens after the elections. What happens in the election is more important. So the BJP's vote share will increase compared to the 7.1% which it had in the 2018 assembly elections. But I think it will not cross the 20% which it had in the 2019 Lok Sabha elections. It will be somewhere in between. So the BJP vote share, if you look at the political geography of Bharatiya Janata Party, this vote share is not spread across the state. This vote share is concentrated in certain constituencies. So, for instance, in Hyderabad and northern Telangana region, BJP is relatively better. And BJP is very weak in Khammam, Nalgonda belt. So, in some of the constituencies where it has strong local leaders who are the nominees, who are the candidates, 2 of its MPs are contesting, 3 of its MLAs are contesting, couple of former MLAs are contesting. So obviously all this matters. So in case BJP gets a sizable vote share, I'm not talking about 1 or 2 or 3. Even if it gets a sizable vote share, the contest becomes unpredictable. Barkhaji, I'm telling you 48 hours before, even Kamareddy, where KCR and Revanth Reddy fighting each other, along with the BJP nominee, a local leader with a lot of influence, Venkat Ramana Reddy, the contest is highly unpredictable today. You can't say who will win. So wherever BJP,
So you are saying KCR may not win in Kamareddy, one of the two seats he's contesting when he's
I'm
up
not telling
against
he will not
Revant
win.
Reddy.
I'm only telling the contest is unpredictable. Three of them will be in a very fierce contest, and anything is possible. Anything is possible. I'm not telling KCR will not win, but anything is possible, even in Kamareddy. So what happens is, when you have a sizable vote share of the Bharatiya Janata Party, then that has the a potential to upset the apple cart, because what obviously the BJP takes away the anti-incumbency vote, anti-government vote. Well, the BJP's surge in few constituencies may harm even BRS to the benefit of Congress, but relatively the BRS will be the chief beneficiary in case the BJP gets sizable vote share in sizable number of.
So X factor one is, if the BJP gets a sizable vote share, then the BRS has reason to be happy.
Obviously, because in a triangular contest, the BRS will benefit. Look at what happened in Karnataka. The JDS declined, and that helped the
Yeah.
Congress. So obviously, when the third player declines, one of the two will benefit. Here in Telangana, because the BJP's rise is only a result of the anti-incumbency. So BJP doesn't have such a traditional influence except in Hyderabad city and couple of other regions. But the BJP's rise is largely attributed to the discontent against the BRS and lack of confidence in Congress. So obviously, wherever the BJP surges, that will be detrimental to the interest of the Congress.
How much of a setback has it been for the BRS, for the Election Commission, 2 days after giving a no objection for disbursement under their flagship Raitu Bandhu program, the farmers program, the farmers welfare scheme? Now it is said that it violates the model code of conduct. It has stopped the scheme. Is that a factor?
I don't think the ground reports which I am getting is Raitu Bandhu, this entire fiasco will not have any impact on the electoral fortunes of any party, because people understood the political game in it. Well, they know pretty well that they will get the Raitu Bandhu, if not today, after a week. How does it matter if they get today or after a week? So it's an ongoing scheme. It is a scheme which both the parties are supporting. So there's a political consensus on the scheme. It is a scheme that is continuous scheme. It's not a specific to one particular time period. So obviously, given this fact, the people are not at all worried that the Raitu Bandhu will not come if the elections are over. So they and the political mood is has already set in. People's electoral choices are already defined. The only X factor is the vote share, seat share configuration due to the nature of contest, whether it's triangular or straight. The other
you've
X factor
identified.
is
Yeah, I was just
vote.
going to ask you. You've identified one X factor. What is the second X factor?
It is the poll management, because there is a very keen contest in many constituencies. Barkha ji, you have to understand the 2018 mandate to understand the 2023 mandate. In 2018, BRS has won 88 seats, winning nearly 47%. It's a whopping 47% compared to 28% Congress. So there is a 19% gap between the Congress and the BRS. However, the Congress may surge, still it's a massive gap. So obviously there will be a very keen contest in many constituencies. The gap between the BRS and the Congress will not be very huge. So there comes in the influence of the poll management. So Congress is not in power, BRS is in power, BJP is in power. If the time comes, the central government will support the BRS. We have seen the Raitu Bandhu case. So obviously there is every possibility that the BRS will prevail over the Congress in the poll management. But the poll management works only when there is no decisive political mood. Poll management doesn't work when there is a decisive political mood. The only hope for the Congress is, well, there is a strong mood for change which will neutralize the poll management. Well, that is $1 million question. Is the poll management, will the poll management prevail, or will the political mood prevail?
Let me ask you to talk a little bit about what explains the Congress resurgence apart from the anti-incumbency against the BRS and the BJP self-goals. Are the factors local or are they national? In other words, is it the local leadership of the Congress or the Gandhis or a mix of both? Now, KTR had some very strong words to say about Rahul Gandhi. I want to play that out for you and then I'll get your response. Listen in. They use a B team phrase for you. You used a B word for him.
Well, what do you call a guy who
What's the word
accuses...
first?
Well, I called him a buffoon.
Rahul Gandhi.
Yes, and the reason why I called him a buffoon is because what do you call a guy who accuses KCR Garu of 1 lakh crore grab in an 80,000 crore project? तो project भी खत्म हो गया, पानी भी आ रहा है. ये सब देखने के बाद भी 80,000 करोड़ में जो project खत्म हो गया, उसमें आके कहता है आदमी कि 1 लाख करोड़ का घोटाला हो गया. उसको क्या बोले? बफून नहीं.
But the essence of the allegation?
The essence of the allegation is it's untrue, it's silly and it's absurd. And 9.5 years, Modi has been saying the same thing. BJP has been saying the same thing. But any item of evidence, let them go to a court of law and prove it.
So let's talk about Rahul Gandhi, Professor Nageshwar. When we look at opinion polls of the 5 poll-bound states, Telangana is the only state where Rahul Gandhi and the Prime Minister have competitive popularity when it comes to the choice for Prime Minister. In all of the other states, even if there is a vote for change in favor of the Congress, when it comes to national politics, the Prime Minister remains far ahead. And indeed, we have the last time's election results to tell us that as the Congress won all of these states, they got decimated in the Lok Sabha elections. In Telangana, it's a very different situation. In Telangana, in fact, if we look at that slide, there is a reasonable popularity for Rahul Gandhi vis-a-vis Prime Minister Modi. Can I just have a look at that one slide which has that comparative popularity? If you look at it, can I stay on Telangana first? Just go back to the other slide. 33% according to the ABPC voter survey against 17% it's 33% for Rahul Gandhi against 38% for the Prime Minister. So I want to talk a little bit about the Rahul Gandhi factor.
Now, the first point is you don't need a voter survey. The 2019 Lok Sabha elections revealed the story. The BJP won 4 seats, Congress won 3 seats, and the Congress leaders have resigned to the fate even much before the contest began. If they have confidently fought the election, the Congress would have got more MP seats in 2019. So the reason for that is, number one, traditionally, the southern part of the Vindhyas is unpalatable for the BJP and Modi politics. And the southern part of India was always kind to the Congress and Gandhis right from the days of Indira Gandhi. During the post-emergency 1977 Lok Sabha elections, when North India deserted Congress in a very big way, Andhra Pradesh, the United Andhra Pradesh, sent 41 out of 42 Congress members to Parliament. The only exception was Neelam Sanjeeva Reddy, who went on to become the President of India. So we have seen during the 2004 and 2009, UPA 1 and UPA 2 were powered only by the Parliament members who were sent by United Andhra Pradesh. So the Congress was always strong in South and had a presence in Telangana. There is another factor. It was Sonia Gandhi political decision which delivered Telangana. Person no less than the KCR went on record in the State Assembly.
But the Congress that's true, but the Congress never benefited politically from that at all. That's the irony.
It never benefited because it was leading the state during the movement for separate states. Its vacillation, its procrastination, its prevarication during the UPA regime for 10 years has cost it dearer. So that's the difference. 2014 was different. It was Congress was fighting the elections in the divided state with a huge baggage of anti-incumbency which it inherited from the United States. So in 2014 also, you have to remember, Barkha ji, TRS got only 63 seats, just 3 more than the magic figure. By 2018, the TRS consolidated by vanquishing Congress and by taking a lot of Congress MLAs TDP MLAs and even a CPI MLA and YSRCP MLAs also. So it was more a political management that catapulted TRS to 88 members, apart from the fact that people wanted to experiment for one more term with the BRS regime. I'm not telling that the Congress is the sole, as the sole patent on Telangana identity, but certainly it is not, it still has a positive opinion about Sonia.
But can I
Look at
ask you something?
after
Can I
that,
ask you something? Can I ask you something? Sorry, I'm interrupting you because I want to ask you something. Even today, the Congress has released a video message from what they call Sonia Amma, Sonia Gandhi releasing a message. And I take your point that Congress was in the center when the decision to grant Telangana its separate statehood was taken, but KCR was the leader who was able to maximize the political benefit from that. Now, my question is, in Karnataka, the Congress did well by completely localizing the election. It completely localized it. In Telangana, do you believe that this is the Revanth Reddy factor? Or is it the Rahul Gandhi factor? Or are the two not separate?
I think it is a KCR factor and BJP factor more than any of the two factors which you
So it's more an anti-vote than a pro-Congress vote?
Obviously, it's more an anti-vote with the Congress, given the fact that it has delivered Telangana, given the fact that it has strong local leaders, could benefit from the voter fatigue. I don't even call anti-incumbency, Barkhaji. It is more than the anti-incumbency, what seems to be hurting BRS. I am not still speculating that BRS will lose. I am only stating that BRS will substantially lose the number of seats. Whether it will be dethroned or not, I really don't know, and I should not speak at this moment of time. But
Correct.
it will certainly lose the strength which it had in 2018. So
But
this
it
is
has
only
a
result
big
of
enough.
voter party. That's all the
Okay,
that's all the
But
Let's
I
look for somebody else.
but I find it very interesting that you're saying it's more a vote that's fatigued with KCR, but the base of the BRS is big enough for them to take a fall and still form government potentially.
That in fact that is the X factor. No,
That is the third
major
X factor.
challenge today in trying to predict the possible mandate is the point which you have said. The base itself is very high for the BRS. Base itself is very low for the Congress. So that makes the entire contest volatile, entire contest unpredictable. Though the people largely believe that there is the people's mood is in favor of Congress, but to what extent? Is it to the extent of dislodging KCR? Is $1 million question.
So I want to play out for you a Rahul Gandhi statement saying that it is the rishta between the Congress and Telangana is a dil ka rishta. I play this in the context that you're saying it's not so much a dil ka rishta with the Congress, but that dil ka rishta with KCR toot gaya. But let's listen to Rahul Gandhi and then I'll come back to you and ask you to comment on that.
मेरा आपके साथ राजनीतिक रिश्ता नहीं है और मैं आपसे राजनीतिक रिश्ता नहीं चाहता हूं। मेरा आपके साथ खून का और पारिवारिक रिश्ता है। चाहे इंदिरा गांधी जी हो, चाहे मेरे पिता हो, राजीव गांधी जी हो, सोनिया गांधी जी हो, मेरी बहन हो या मैं हूं, हम आपसे राजनीतिक रिश्ता नहीं चाहते हैं। हम आपसे पारिवारिक दिल का खून का रिश्ता चाहते हैं।
Now, I want to ask you about this, Professor Nageshwar. This Dil Ka Rishta that the Congress is proclaiming, you're a hard-nosed veteran journalist. You say कि ये Dil Ka Rishta Congress के साथ नहीं है. It's like a breakup with KCR more than love for Congress.
Well, I never said nahi hai, rishta nahi hai. I only said it is the voter fatigue with KCR which benefited Congress, and Congress, the rishta is at least not negative in Telangana. Compared with Andhra Pradesh, the residual Andhra Pradesh, Congress got less than 1% vote share in 2014 and 2018. In Telangana, they always got 25-28% vote share. That itself indicates that the Congress, Sonia ji, has some impact on Telangana. The fact remains, this is not my statement. It is the KCR statement on the floor of the House. He acknowledged the role of Sonia Gandhi, and he, along with the family, went on to meet Sonia Gandhi with a proposal to merge TRS with Congress. It was the Digvijay Singh and the local Congress leaders which ensured that it doesn't materialize. It did not materialize. KTR said this even in his recent interviews. So it's a known fact that the KCR wanted to merge TRS with the Congress. The Congress leadership took a wrong call and finally it did not happen.
Do you think that could still happen? Do you think that
it won't happen now? Why will it happen now? That was the case in 2014 when KCR was not confident of winning. Today, independent of whatever may be the mandate, that will never happen because the TRS is trying to expand to other regions. So the question of merger, the merger is out of question now.
Now, I want to come in the end. We've identified 3 X factors: the BJP's vote share, the poll management, and the third is the base of the BRS is so large. How much it lessens by will decide who forms government. But we haven't spoken about the Muslim vote. We haven't spoken about the attempts by the BJP in the last mile to polarize the vote. Raja Singh, who was suspended by the party, was reinstated. Yogi Adityanath was brought in also to campaign, and Yogi Adityanath is talking about changing the name of Hyderabad. I don't even know if the BJP in Telangana is actually taking this seriously. But let me play out the Yogi Adityanath statement for you for just a moment, and then let's talk about it.
मैं आपका आह्वान करता हूं भाइयों बहनों, 22 जनवरी 2024 प्रधानमंत्री मोदी जी के कर कमलों से 500 वर्षों के बाद अयोध्या में रामलला के भव्य मंदिर में रामलला। मुझे बताइए भाइयों बहनों, कांग्रेस ने तो यहाँ इसको हैदराबाद बनाया, हम तो इसको भाग्यनगर बनाने के लिए आए हैं, भाग्य को बदलने के लिए आए हैं। भाग्य लक्ष्मी का मंदिर यहाँ पर है, उनके नाम पर फिर से भाग्यनगर बनेगा, इस बीच से आपके पास आए हैं। तो 22 जनवरी के बाद आप श्री मेरी सिस्टर रेड्डी को चुनाव जिता करके भेजिए, और बदले में मैं उनसे अपील करूंगा कि भाग्यनगर के राम भक्तों को प्रभु राम का आशीर्वाद दिलाने के लिए अयोध्या लेकर के आए।
Professor Nageshwar, let's talk about this Bhagyanagar Mandir for North Indians like myself who do not understand the importance of it. And also whether you think that this sort of polarization, because I'll come to the MIM next, is having any resonance, not maybe in the short term, but in the long run.
Well, long term it's possible because Hyderabad, Telangana has a sizable Muslim population, and it has an history of a Muslim king ruling the region. It has an history of atrocities committed by the Nizam regime, supported by the feudal Hindu landlords. But the fact remains it doesn't happen now. I will just remind you of the Karnataka elections. They have run a much more acrimonious, polarized campaign in Karnataka. Tipu Sultan, Muslim quota, everything. Who killed Tipu Sultan? They created all kinds of stories. The Hizab story, the Halal story. What happened? The 40% commission Sarkara prevailed over all this. So when the BJP is such a highly communal campaign did not work in a state like Karnataka, where they had a reasonable stronghold with a strong Lingayat social caste identity on its as a support base. Do you think it will happen in Telangana? Telangana doesn't have a Lingayat support base similar to
but the BJP, I'm sorry, the BJP did very well in the Karnataka Lok Sabha elections last time, and we have to see what happens this time.
It's always possible. The history of Indian elections tell that why Karnataka. BJP fared well in Lok Sabha elections in Madhya Pradesh, Rajasthan, Chhattisgarh, Delhi, Orissa. Well, that is a nationwide phenomenon. I'm not talking about that. But 2019 reveals that Telangana seems to be different. We'll have to see what will happen in 2024. But when it comes to 2023 assembly election, BJP is not a force to reckon with. When they're not in the reckoning, when they're not in the mainstream political discourse, I don't think such a campaign will ever work, because it
Okay.
never worked in the past. It was only in GHMC. Perhaps Yogi Adityanath mistaking assembly elections for GHMC
Local
elections.
polls.
They did the
Yeah.
same campaign during the GHMC elections.
Okay, the GHMC elections being the Greater Hyderabad Municipal Corporation, the local urban polls, you're saying what can work in the city in a local assembly is not going to work at the assembly level, and you believe, at least in Telangana, not in the state level. Let's come to Asaduddin Owaisi and the Muslim factor, not because Muslims are only represented by Mr. Owaisi, but he has maintained his stronghold, I beg your pardon, over the 7 seats in Hyderabad. There's been a sizable Muslim vote for KCR in the past. What will happen this time? Now, interestingly, Owaisi has been targeting Revant Reddy, saying he's an RSS Anna, talking about Revant Reddy's past links with the RSS. He also said that Revant Reddy cannot stand anybody who wears a skull cap and grows a beard. I put this question to Revant Reddy, and his answer is very interesting. Professor Nageshwar, please listen in.
कोशा महल असेंबली कॉन्स्टिट्यूंसी जहां से राजा सिंह रिप्रेजेंट करता है, वही एरिया में एमआईएम हेडक्वार्टर्स दारुस्सलाम आती है। वो असेंबली कॉन्स्टिट्यूंसी में वही असेंबली हैदराबाद पार्लियामेंट जहां पर असदुद्दीन ओवैसी एमपी है, वो असेंबली में चुनाव क्यों नहीं लड़ रहा है? व्हाट इज योर अंडरस्टैंडिंग विद बीजेपी? आप अगर ये गलत है तो मक्का मस्जिद में आके कुरान उठाकर बोलो कि भाई योगी जी का और अमित भाई का काश आदमी मेरा घर पे दावत पे नहीं आया, मेरा गाड़ी कर्नाटक में इस्तेमाल नहीं किया। ये 2 सवालों को जवाब दो, बोलो। तब कौन किसी के साथ है? किसी के शेरवानी के नीचे पैजामा नहीं है, खाकी निक्कर है, सबको पता लगेगा।
आप कह रहे हैं कि असद ओवैसी के शेरवानी के नीचे खाकी निक्कर है, और वो कह रहे हैं आप आरएसएस अन्ना है।
इसीलिए मैं कह रहा हूं, जब उनके बारे में चर्चा हो गए तो फिर उनके लिए दिक्कत होगा। इसीलिए मेरे ऊपर इल्जाम लगा रहे। भाई मैं 20 ईयर से राजनीति में हूं, अगर वो सच है तो मैं सीधा जाके बीजेपी में ज्वाइन होकर अमित भाई से, योगी से मैं मिलकर काम करते थे ना।
Professor Nageshwar, how do you see Mr. Owaisi raising the past links of Revant Reddy with the RSS? Then we must also talk about the fact that Revant Reddy at one point was close to KCR. Today, he's the main man taking him on. And this debate around the Muslim vote and Asad Owaisi again being accused of enabling the BJP. Is this a major factor? How do you look at the Muslim community and their vote?
First factor is Revant Reddy is not Congress. Congress is not Revant Reddy. Revant Reddy is one among the leaders of Congress.
So you don't think he'll be chief minister if the Congress wins?
No, I am not telling that. I am not telling that. I'm telling in the Revant Reddy certainly has the highest chances of becoming chief minister. But the point is, Revant Reddy cannot take a call on hobnobbing with RSS or BJP, remaining a Congress leader. That will never happen. Well, Revant Reddy was, as a student leader, he was associated with Akhil Bharatiya Vidyarthi Parishad. I will show you number of ABVP background leaders who are in BRS. There are Naxal student organization leaders who are working with BJP. Who is Itala Rajendra, who is the BJP's possible one of the chief minister candidate. He has a background of People's Progressive Democratic Students Union, PDSU, a student wing of CPIML. Well, who's telling this is quite common when Itala Rajendra with ultra-left student background can become a BJP leader. Well, obviously anybody can happen anything, and that to Congress, number one. Number two, nobody, even in a wildest dreams, can think that the Congress and BJP will join together. Owaisi is trying to sell this narrative precisely because he has been thoroughly exposed. And so let me tell what Priyanka Gandhi said. MIM contest 40 seats, 50 seats, 70 seats in Uttar Pradesh, Bihar, Maharashtra, Rajasthan, wherever and outside in the northern part of the country. But why is it contesting only 9 out of 190 seats? Tell me. Is there any, there should be any reason for that, no? So that itself shows what the Owaisi is. There's not a single case, CBI case, IT case on Owaisi brothers and his close associates. What does it explain? Either they should be very honest leaders or the central agencies are favoring him. So this is next point is, well, MIM influence, Barkha ji, I'm telling you, there were speculation that MIM seats will expand from 7 to 8, 9. But there is no wonder if it comes down to 6 this time. So even in Nampally, for example, MIM is facing a fierce contest from Congress. I'm not predicting the result. So it's not ethical for me to predict the result. I'm only telling it is facing a strong contest even in its own bastion called Old City. Outside Old City, I don't think MIM influence will have such a say.
Okay,
But still,
very
I
interesting.
can tell you, Barkha ji, a Muslim vote will not shift to Congress en masse as it happened in Karnataka. The reason is simple. Karnataka Congress was fighting against the BJP. Here, Telangana Congress is fighting against the BRS. So the complete vote consolidation of minorities will never happen when a secular party is fighting a secular party. And KCR secular image, absolute no communal rights in Hyderabad, welfare schemes, will still BRS retains a large chunk of the Muslim vote, that too when it is supported by MIM. There will be a sizable shift to Congress, but it will not happen as it happened in Karnataka.
Yes, that's very perceptive. In fact, I met a number of Muslim voters on my trip there, Professor Nageswara, who said that they still believe they might be wasting their vote if they vote for Congress. They need to believe that the Congress can form the government to vote for the Congress.
Well, more than that, the fight is not with Congress and BJP. When the fight is not between Congress and BJP, the vote shift will not be complete. So it happened only when if the BJP is the major challenger. BJP is not challenger. In some of the seats, it's the BRS versus BJP also. So the fact is Muslim vote will shift to Congress in a sizable manner, but it will not shift as it happened in Karnataka. More than the Muslims, there is another factor, the Simandra voter. The voters who belong to the Rayalaseema and Coastal Andhra region, but settled in Telangana from quite some time. That shift is much more important than the Muslim vote also.
Right. Now, I want to ask you in the end, what will you be looking out for on voting day? Does turnout matter? Usually a vote for change is a high voter turnout. We don't know. That's the usual pattern. In the end, what is that one thing that you'll be looking out for on voting day?
Not necessarily, Barkha ji. There is no empirical evidence to link voter turnout with the result. So as far as I know, in Indian elections, there is no such empirical evidence to substantiate anything, to read anything from the high voter turnout or low voter turnout. That's number one. Number two, the crucial thing that will happen is the momentum which the Congress got, especially in the recent past, will it sustain? There is a difference between Karnataka and Telangana, Barkha ji. In Karnataka, the BJP government was facing severe anti-incumbency. In Telangana, there is anti-incumbency, and KCR still enjoys pro-incumbency in certain sections or for certain reasons. So it is not the case of Karnataka. That is the reason Karnataka, the writing was on the wall much before the voting happened.
You spoke about the BJP's fatal errors. You did not speak about the BRS's fatal errors. Let's start with the fact that it's called BRS today. Do you think the BRS was too quick to overestimate its national footprint and re-christian itself the Bharatiya Rashtra Samithi? What are some of the other mistakes you think the BRS has made, if you see them as mistakes? Because polls still reveal KCR to be the tallest regional leader in the state.
Well, KCR still remains the tallest regional leader. If you ask for a CM choice, I'm sure more people will prefer KCR to any leaders, independent of whether they vote for the BRS or not. So that's the number one. Number two, TRS turning into BRS, I don't think it has helped the BRS in any way. It might have, I don't think it has seriously damaged, though it rechristened itself as a BRS. People still consider it as TRS only. Nobody seriously takes the BRS. And the KCR stopped talking about his national ambition for quite some time because he knew the pitfalls of doing it, especially when Telangana goes to polls. So the only factor is Telangana identity, which was the single most powerful weapon of KCR, got diluted to some extent. But more than that, I don't think BRS harmed KCR, but at least certainly not benefited KCR. More than what the biggest fatal error was is ambiguous, ambivalent stand on BJP. Once he praised Modi, he then questioned Modi, then started remaining silent on Modi. Well, that eroded political credibility of KCR, and his parleys with the leaders who are either with the Congress or likely to be with Congress across the country. Whom did he meet? He met Stalin, Sharad Pawar, Hemant Soren, Uddhav Thackeray, Akhilesh Yadav, Mamata Banerjee. All of them are either allies of Congress or prospective allies of Congress. He did not meet any BJP prospective ally. The only man is Kumaraswamy went on to be part of NDA. More recently, when the BRS launched, the first friend was Kumaraswamy. The first friend took no time to join NDA. So the political credibility suffered due to his ambivalence towards the BJP, and that really might have helped in strengthening the narrative that the BJP and BRS have some secret understanding.
And if you were a betting man, would you see them joining hands in the Lok Sabha as Revanth Reddy claims?
Well, look at the history, Barkha, of regional parties. Barring Rashtra Janata Dal, I haven't seen any regional party which has not joined with BJP or with the Congress. Show me one party across the country, barring Rashtra Janata Dal, which never joined with BJP. So I don't think KCR will be an exception in that.
Very interesting. For the BRS, it's being caught between a rock and a hard place. If it loses, it will need the BJP perhaps even more. If it wins, it might not need the BJP in the same way. Is that fair?
Obviously, the Lok Sabha grammar, the politics of Lok Sabha elections will largely be dependent on the kind of numbers which the Telangana Assembly election will throw up. So all kinds of permutations and combinations can happen, which are a function of the Telangana Assembly verdict.
Professor Nageshwar, this has been a masterclass in the politics of Telangana. I'm sure our audience learned a lot. I certainly did. Thank you so much, sir. We look forward to talking to you on counting day.
Thank you, Barkha ji. It's always a pleasure and a privilege to talk to you.
Not at all, sir. Our pleasure and privilege entirely. Take care and see you soon. Thank you, sir. Mojo's Story has always made a commitment to its viewers to go to where the story is. And as you can see here, we are at the epicenter of the Israel war on Gaza. We are right at the front line, about 1 mile from the Gaza Strip, as the Israeli military gets ready with its tanks and its gunners to begin its final frontal assault that will take troops into Gaza. As we said, we are not like other organizations. We believe in giving you all sides of the story objectively and as much as possible from the ground. And that's exactly what we're doing here, covering the biggest global story today from the epicenter of the war zone. So please, we need your support. Support us, become a Mojo member, subscribe to us, spread the word, and thank you for your support.